Hi, and good evening. I'd like to call to order the Cerritos Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. Now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you will lead us.
Everyone, please rise. Place your right hand on your and join after me.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Javari. At this time, we'd like to do roll call.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Commission Member Byrd,
Present.
Commissioner Member Javeri,
Present.
Commission Member Bahulito,
Present. Sorry.
thank you, Vice Chair Gandhi,
Present.
Chair Gilheis.
Present.
All members noted present for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open for public comments and suggestions. This is just reserved for public comments on consent calendar and items not listed on the agenda but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of this commission. Do we have anyone that would like to come to the stand and speak? Public comments are open. Okay, seeing no one coming forward to speak, we'll close the public comments. So the next item is the approval of the minutes for Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. Can we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Javari to approve the minutes from the last meeting and a second by Commissioner Byrd. Can we take a vote?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In just one moment, I will go ahead and activate the vote. If you just give me one moment. Motion by Commissioner Javeri and second by Commissioner Byrd. Commissioners now may vote. All votes in. Motion carries by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, thank you. So moving on now to the public hearing section. The next item is regarding a resolution of the Planning Commission approving wireless telecommunication permit 2024-1. At this point, I'm going to recuse myself from this part of the meeting. I live within 500 feet of the tower, and so I will step out into the lobby until you guys call me back in.
Thank you, Chair Gilheis. And if I may, Vice Chair Gandhi, if you may just wait a moment until Chair Gilheis fully exits the room. Thank you.
Okay. So on this item 6A, Ms. Aguilar, who's going to give the presentation?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair and members of the Planning Commission. Item 6A this evening is consideration of a new wireless telecommunication permit, WTP 2024-1, and it's a request by AT&T Mobility to construct that new wireless facility on an existing Southern California Edison transmission tower. The presentation for item 6A this evening will be presented by Associate Planner Wyman Wong. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Good evening, Chair and Cerritos Planning Commissioners. The applicant, SmartLink Group, on behalf of AT&T Mobility, is requesting approval to construct a new wireless telecommunication facility under Wireless Telecommunication Permit 2024-1 on an existing Southern California Edison transmission tower located in Jim Edwards Park in order to provide greater wireless coverage to surrounding areas. For the details on this project, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for a presentation. This is an aerial photo of the subject property and location of the proposed wireless telecommunications facility inside Jim Edwards Park, which is generally located south of 195th Street and west of Norwalk Boulevard. The subject property is zoned open space. The subject property is bordered on the east by Norwalk Boulevard and on the west by Jacob Avenue. Across both rights-of-ways are Southern California Edison properties zoned open space. In addition, the nursery properties to the east and west of the subject property also contain transmission towers and wireless telecommunications facilities. This is a large aerial view that shows the subject property and location of the proposed wireless facility. The proposed facility is located on the existing Southern California Edison transmission tower east of the basketball courts. The subject property is bordered on the north and south by single-family homes. This is a view from the Norwalk Boulevard of Jim Edwards Park and on the existing Edison transmission tower, which is location of the proposed wireless facility. This is a view of the location of the proposed wireless facility looking east. This is a view of the location looking north. This is a site plan showing a portion of the subject property. The red circle indicates the location of the proposed wireless telecommunications facility in the park. This is a proposed antenna plan. On the left side are red circles outlining the locations of the new antennas, and on the right side are red circles outlining the remote radio units, both of which will be mounted on the transmission tower. The antennas will be located 60 feet from the ground level, and the remote radio units will be located 52 feet from ground level. This is a floor plan of the proposed equipment enclosure, which will be located beneath the transmission tower and the wireless facility. As proposed, the enclosure will contain 5 support equipment cabinets and 1 global positioning antenna, all located within an enclosure. These are the north and south elevations of the SCC transmission tower with the proposed wireless facility. Project-specific condition of approval 81 was added to ensure that the proposed equipment enclosure exterior will be constructed of decorative slump block to match other wireless facilities equipment enclosures, subject to the review and approval of the Department of Community Development. These are the east and west elevations. The applicant has provided several photo simulations to show how the proposed wireless facility will look upon completion. The image on the left shows the existing conditions, and the image on the right shows the proposed wireless facility and enclosure looking southwest. These photo simulation views are looking southwest from Bertha Street at the existing conditions and the proposed non-building mounted wireless facility. These photo simulation views are looking southeast from Bertha Street at the existing conditions and proposed non-building mounted wireless facility. On the screen are 2 coverage maps. The map on the left shows wireless coverage without the proposed wireless facility. The light green color areas on the map show coverage, and the light purple color areas show weak outdoor coverage. On the right side, the map shows coverage with the proposed wireless facility. As you can see, the proposed wireless facility indicated in the red circle provides much needed wireless coverage in the area. As part of this wireless telecommunication permit 2024-1, the conditions of approval have been added and to ensure that the facility continues to maintain compliance with the Federal Communications Commission requirements. In addition, staff has added 6 project-specific conditions of approval referenced on the slide to ensure that the wireless facility safety measures will be implemented, including requirements for the equipment enclosure access door to be locked when no active maintenance is done, to ensure that the path of travel for access paths routes to the wireless facility are not paved with cement or any type of hardscape materials on the park grounds, to ensure construction coordination with the recreation superintendent to schedule access for construction and coordinate the use of this area, to ensure that the equipment closure finish will match other wireless facilities equipment enclosures. The global positioning antennas, feature antennas, and support equipment does not protrude above the equipment enclosure. And last, the exterior conduit run from the equipment enclosure to the Southern California Edison Lattice Tower, conduit support post, and conduits will be painted a La Paz color to match the equipment enclosure. Staff and the city's wireless technical consultant have reviewed the request to install a new wireless telecommunications facility as discussed this evening, and have determined that the facility is compatible with the purpose and intent of the city's wireless ordinance, and it meets FCC guidelines for wireless facilities. As mentioned, this is a new wireless facility, and entitlements and approval for the facility will enable AT&T Mobility to provide coverage in and around the area of the facility. As such, it is recommended that the Planning Commission discuss the information provided, conduct a public hearing, and adopt a resolution approving the request to install the new wireless facility. This ends the PowerPoint portion of the presentation. Staff has determined that the facility is category exempt from CEQA. All properties within 500 feet were noticed, including residential properties. Staff has not received any public comments regarding the new wireless telecommunications facility. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time. And in the audience is a representative of the applicant who can also address questions from the commission. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And before I open up the public comment, does anybody have any questions?
I do. No cost to the city? Any cost to the city?
No.
Commissioner Polito or Javeri, anybody have a question for?
Thank you, Vice Chair, and thank you, Mr. Wong, for the presentation. Was there any? I think you mentioned it, but was there any public comment prior to the meeting?
No, we did not receive any.
Thank you.
Commissioner Javeri, did you have any questions?
So just like all of the previous wireless sites, we only have a say on the beautification, so to say, of the satellite or the site, correct?
Thank you, Commissioner Javeri. So under the city's ordinance and jurisdictional authority, the city only has authority to regulate the location, the place, and the design of the wireless telecommunication facility. The regulations or jurisdictional authority over any emissions or exposure levels are regulated by the FCC. However, even though that is the case, in all scenarios for proposed wireless facilities, the city does retain a third-party telecommunication consultant to do that analysis to ensure that the wireless facility does meet FCC regulations and requirements for the installations of this facility. Now, in this scenario, the consultant did find two things. One, that the wireless facility meets all requirements for location, placement, and design of the city's ordinance, as well as all regulations of the FCC for this installation related to emissions or electromagnetic exposure levels.
So typically, I think you know and I know that it depends on who is calling for or who is gathering such reports. Now, if I'm gathering such reports, I know how to get the results my way.
Okay.
So basically, FCC giving a clearance or somebody else giving a clearance for that, it has very little meaning to it. So basically, this is ruled by them. So again, we have very little say on it.
So it's not just discretionary reports. It is the federal government, federal communications commissions ensuring compliance with these regulations. It's not kind of an arbitrary report and who prepares the report. The Federal Communications Commission has very stringent regulations and rules for the placement of these facilities. And that oversight is at a federal level.
Right, but we have more and more of these being installed in our city, and people nowadays are more informed and more educated, and they know the side effects of all of this. So, well, that's all I can say. Thank you.
If I can chime in on that point as well. So you're correct, Commissioner, that the city's jurisdiction here cannot touch the radio frequency electromagnetism portions if the structure is demonstrated to comply with the FCC regulations. And in the event the structure, there was evidence to show that the structure was not complying with FCC regulations, then there would be grounds for enforcement on both the city's end and seeking enforcement by the FCC. But here we have a third-party consultant that did a study finding it complied with them. So in terms of what the city can do, we're limited to that aesthetics and location.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Javeri, and thank you for chiming in there with the information. I do have a few questions. Mr. Wong, thank you for that presentation. How close is the closest residential building to this tower?
Approximately like 70 feet.
70 feet. Is this pretty typical of towers where residential buildings are within this distance?
Not usually, but I should leave that to the applicant to answer that question.
And then I would also add, if I may, as mentioned in the agenda report, adjacent to Jim Edwards Park are 2 nursery properties with other Southern California Edison transmission towers with wireless facilities located on those towers within the same distance to residential properties as what's before you today.
Okay, so it wouldn't be unusual to see a tower placed at 70 feet distance. There already is an existing tower there that is transmitting?
Within the entire, we'll call it the Edison right-of-way area, so to the east of Norwalk Boulevard and the west of Jacob Avenue are other Southern California Edison transmission towers that connect to this transmission tower that have wireless facilities on them. It is not rare or unheard of for these facilities to be located in close proximity to residential in an effort to provide those property owners wireless coverage. And as this commission is aware, the allowances afforded to wireless telecommunication companies over the past several years has expanded, and more authority is given to these companies in the location, placement, design, etc. And so it wasn't that long ago that the city amended our wireless ordinance to ensure very stringent criteria, and I'm sure the applicant can attest. We have very stringent criteria here in the city of what these things look like, the location, where they go, etc. And so, in two facets to answer your question. One, it's not unheard of for these to be within 70 feet or even closer, actually. And then secondly, there are other facilities with the same distance from residential property to the east of Norwalk Boulevard and west of Jacob Avenue.
So is there a minimum limit according to the municipal code for the tower to be in terms of proximity to residential?
A minimum distance, no. It's more, as mentioned in the agenda report, a checklist of criteria and rating, and this one specifically for a non-building mounted facility.
Okay. And does this equipment that is being installed pretty much a standard upgrade equipment where you're not doing anything special in terms of the transmission?
The equipment included in both the equipment enclosure and on the tower, the antennas, the radio units, et cetera, are standard for all wireless facilities that we receive here for the city.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Is there any other questions from the commissioners before I open up the public comment section? No? Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up the public comment section for item 6A. So anybody in the audience that has comments or wants to talk about it, please come to the podium, state your name for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you my name is James Yee. I'm a resident of Sausalito since 1977. I have some questions for the presenter. He may have stated it, but I didn't catch what the purpose of these wireless communications equipment is for. Is it for resale to private individuals, or is it for commercial purposes?
If I may, thank you for providing public comment today. So the public comment period isn't meant for a question and answer between speaker and staff or the commission. If you'd like to provide your public comment, you can do so. And then if directed by the Planning Commission for staff to answer the question, we'd be happy to do so after your public comment.
Okay, well, that's all I had.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Would it be possible to answer the gentleman's question, please?
Yes, and I think it would be prudent to go ahead and have the applicant come to the podium. I think it would be more appropriate for the applicant to address the speaker's question. And if the applicant may state his name for the record, thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is John Silverman. Excuse me. I'm here on behalf of AT&T. So in regards to that question, in terms of resale, the equipment will be owned by AT&T, but the tower is, of course, owned by SCE, and we would be in a partnership with them. Well, not a partnership, a leasing agreement. We would essentially be their tenants. In terms of resale to the coverage, it's concerning providing coverage to already existing and any future AT&T coverage recipients in the area. So any clients, any customers of AT&T within the scope of this tower would then receive better service than they are currently doing.
Thank you for the clarification. I hope that answers your question.
I have a question. I don't know anybody in Cerritos that has a problem with cell reception. Maybe they do, but I've traveled here for 40-some years. What's the benefit for AT&T?
So here we've had our RF engineers do a study, and one of the images was a representation of that. The outside service in this area is pretty good, or at least acceptable, but within structures it's not as good. Specifically within the houses and cars, the service within that area, it's not that it's completely absent, but it's not excellent by any means. And so this would address a significant gap in coverage within the area, specifically so that the coverage is more effective within structures, specifically within someone's house or within someone's car, which are both poorly served. Not to say that there's no service in the area, but it's unlikely to hold a consistent signal within the area.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the information and your time. If there's anybody else who would like to make comment about this item, please step forward, state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is James Wang. I'm a resident of Cerritos since 1992. Okay, so I live probably within 100 feet of that proposed place location. So I'm very much concerned about the potential harm it may cause to my family's health, because there is this high voltage power line there already, and we are already concerned about that. But I know that they said that science have not proved that this is going to cause harm. Okay, but now when you add that one, there's a new proposal over here. So those two double effect. Now, have you done any research about those two combined and how much harm it may cause to the people living nearby? Okay, so that's my comment here.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment section. Does the commissioner have any additional questions? No. Could I get a motion to approve item 2024-1?
So moved.
I'll second it. Can we get the vote, please?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Vice Chair Gandhi. A motion was made by Commissioner Byrd, and give me just one moment, and a second by Vice Chair Gandhi. In just a moment, I will activate the vote. My apologies, I put on the screen incorrectly that Commissioner Javeri seconded. If I may note for the record, without changing the screen, the first was made by Commissioner Byrd and second by Vice Chair Gandhi. You may go ahead and place your votes. And if you give me a moment, I will record Chair Gilheis as absent, as recusing herself for this. And all votes in. Motion carries by a vote of 3 yeas, 1 no, and 1 absent for Chair Gilheis. And at this time, it would be appropriate for Chair Gilheis to. My apologies. I'm going to reread the vote for the record. 3 yeas, 1 abstention from Commissioner Javeri, and 1 noted absent for the recusal of Chair Gilheis. At this time, Chair Gilheis may come back for the next item. Thank
Should
you.
we take a few minutes break is somebody going to inform her, or?
We could. We could take a
she's
moment.
what?
We don't need to do a formal recess.
Okay.
We could take a moment, though, if Commissioner Byrd, if you'd like to grab her.
Before we proceed, just can I ask you a question? So, just hypothetical question: what if everyone abstains from voting? What happens?
Then the motion would fail, and the motion to adopt the resolution approving, well, there would be no motion. If everybody abstained, then the approval of the resolution would fail.
Then would it still go to the city council? Correct.
It depends. There could be another vote afterwards, for example, to deny or to just pass the abstention vote to the city council. It would just be in the discretion of the commission to decide how it wanted to handle it.
All right. Thank you.
Would it eventually not wind up with the city council?
Would it not?
So would it not eventually wind up with the city council?
So wireless telecommunication facilities are reviewed and considered by the Planning Commission. If it resulted in a denial or a unanimous abstention and the applicant were to appeal, they could appeal to the city council.
So to understand this, I think we've had one instance where we denied something and then it went in front of the city council and then they approved it. So that's the process?
So that's a little bit different. What you were referring to was a development project under a precise plan. And a precise plan development project, the Planning Commission is a recommending body for consideration for the city council. So for that specific project, the Planning Commission made a recommendation for denial, and other projects, they make a recommendation for approval. In any case, the Planning Commission is making a recommendation for consideration by the City Council. smaller room addition projects that come before the Planning Commission, as well as wireless telecommunication facilities in some scenarios, stop here at the Planning Commission, unless there is a denial and the applicant chooses to appeal to the City Council. Those other ones or that other one that you referenced where the Planning Commission recommended denial, there was no appeal needed. It's just that was the recommendation of the Planning Commission for consideration by the City Council.
So a vote to abstain or deny would allow the applicant to then appeal to the City Council
Correct.
for approval at that point.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to point out for the wireless telecommunication proposal that we just reviewed, based on the scoring with our municipal code, it received a score of 24, and those reports are reviewed by the Telecommunications Design Review Board, which is one of your titles. You are the Wireless Telecommunication Review Board. So that is the Planning Commission only. This particular, the way our ordinances reads, and our ordinance is designed to encourage the best designs. So when it's a point system. So basically, this particular one that we just reviewed is only reviewed by the Planning Commission, and it doesn't go any further.
Even if it is
Unless
denied,
there's a denial
Unless it's
subject to
denied.
appeal to the City Council.
Then it
it
would
is still subject to.
yes,
Yes, absolutely.
And irrespective of what we're considering, because the jurisdiction about the microwaves and the health part of it and all that, it is beyond the city. It lies with the FCC.
Vice Chair, I have to ask that we limit our discussion on this item with the chair back with us and the
That's-
vote already having occurred.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I'll just limit it to one statement. I'm very aware of the concern that the citizens have. If I was in their position, living next to a tower, I'd probably have the same concerns. I think it's natural. But we've, in the past, approved multiple of these projects where the situation was exactly the same. And I would venture to guess that if we were to abstain or deny today, that it would go to the City Council and probably get approved. So,
I'd like to add something. I appreciate what you said. I respect that. But the voting has already been done. So whether she is here or she is not here wouldn't make any difference.
For conflicts of interest purposes, it's still within the purview of the Planning Commission, and it's still a discussion on, a project in which the chair has a conflict. So it's best to limit the discussion on the dais about it. And, any questions on a theoretical level, staff is always happy to help with in a one-on-one context as well.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah. Well, Sandy, what's 24 out of how many? It had a rating of 24. What's that rating mean? 24 out of what? I just want to know what the rating.
It is in the staff report for the item, but essentially the city's ordinance has a scoring criteria, and it's a point score that's given through the ordinance that determines the review body. And so,
But 24 out of what? What?
Well, I'm very, very familiar with the ordinance, but is it appropriate to talk about this, or would
it's better not to talk about it.
Yes,
and
so
those questions can be answered
after the meeting, I'd be happy to go over it with you.
And then if I may, and just make it clear, it is for two reasons. It's one, the potential conflict of interest of the chair being here, and then two, also because the vote has already been taken.
all yours, Chair.
Okay, so moving along, we're going to move into our reports section. So do we have reports from the city?
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. I did want to take a moment to inform the public and those watching that on August 27th, the city of Cerritos launched a brand new city website with website address cerritos.gov. And at the city council meeting of August 22nd, there was a presentation on the new website, and information about the new website was provided. There have been in the past questions from the commission about the functionality and capabilities of what at that time will be the new city's website. And so I would encourage any member of the commission or members of the public to check out the new city's website. And if there are questions that the commission has, or anybody watching at home or here this evening on the new city's website, go ahead and contact myself. And if I'm not able to answer your questions, I can put you in touch with the communications or IT team who worked tremendously hard on the city's website. I think kudos go out to the entire communications and MIS team. The website is looks exceptional, and we're very proud of the new website. And again, all kudos to the communication team at the direction of the city council and in coordination with the city manager for those efforts. So just wanted to announce Cerritos.gov is live and functional, and I'll leave it at that. That concludes my communications this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move on to item 7B, which is the reports from the Planning Commission members.
I just want to say that I've complained a lot about some of the maintenance of shrubbery and streets and things in Cerritos, but we had the tree trimming group come out in our cul-de-sac, and we have some very critical neighbors about everything, and they were just fantastic. They were very courteous and professional, and just did a yeoman's great work, and I learned to appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Byrd. I'll be sure to pass that on to the trees crew. Thank you.
Commissioner Polito?
Thank you, Chair Gilheis. Last week, August 29th, I attended the Starbucks Friends and Family opening event, met Joshua, the store manager, and the new shift manager. The hours are 4:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., and those that attended were Cerritos City Council members Linda Johnston and Frank Aurelio Yokoyama, Lakewood City Council member David Orellano, ABC School Board member Dr. Olga Rios, former Mayor Mark Polito, and former Planning Commissioner Tatiana Yokoyama Bui. So I wanted to congratulate the city and everyone involved and the employees that are now working at that location. And lastly, just wanted to wish the city and everyone happy belated Labor Day. And this day is chosen to honor working men and women of nationwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Javari?
I'm excited to inform all the residents of our city is that we will be having the biggest Diwali festival of Southern California. This is our third year, and we will be having again at the same location, Don Kanabi Regional Park, on October 19, which is Saturday, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. There'll be lot of cultural display, lot of booths, food booths, shopping, and all the fun stuff. So all are invited. It's a free event. Please do come and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Javari. Commissioner?
Thank you, Chair. So I'm really thrilled to see the new website. I got a chance to go ahead and look at the website and the functionality, and thank you for making it possible to submit the plans electronically, which is what I was asking for the last how many years, without understanding that you've been doing it all this time. Although there was a few things in there that I hope will get improved upon later on, because now if you need to find out where your plan is, you have to call City Hall to figure out where it is. I hope that becomes something that's available to the residents in real time on the website. The one suggestion I had, and I've conveyed this to the team, is there is nothing on the website that allows businesses that are looking at Cerritos as a potential site. You have to dig through a couple menus, 3 menus, to go there. I have said this in the past, and I've said this many times, one of the biggest assets that the city has are its children. We invest a lot of time and money in this area to get them educated. And just like my kids did, and I'm sure some of the other ones had the same experience, none of them can get an internship here, nor can they get a job here. So it's a shame that we go through this process of educating them, putting in the effort, putting in the resources, and then they have to move out. I believe one of the council people, must be Councilperson Bruce, has spoken about this in the past. But I wish we used this website to attract new businesses. I love the fact that the residents get all the information there, and it's nice. But in the end, we can't just sit on our laurels. I believe we need to attract new businesses, high-tech businesses, so that our kids don't actually have to leave home or to leave the city to find internships and jobs. But yes, congratulations to the team on putting up a website that is far better than what we had. That's all I have. One more thing. I will urge everybody to go enjoy the Diwali function. Mr. Javeri and his team have worked really hard, and they always outdo themselves every year. So I'm excited to see all the fun stuff they have and the good food and things that they have there. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gandhi. So my comments are, I appreciate all the work that the city has done to put the presentation together tonight, even though I didn't get to be a part of it and discuss it with my fellow commissioners. It's not often that we get a lot of people that come to the meetings, and we have a pretty decent turnout tonight. So thank you, Mr. Yee, for being here and saying your words that you did. But I wanted to thank the young people that are sitting over there in the back right side, and glad you guys are here. If you had any questions or anything, or if you're just waiting on somebody, that's fine too. But thanks for showing an interest in sitting here. Appreciate you guys coming. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting.